Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ashlee. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my everyday makeup routine. And I know at the moment it sounds so trivial and lame to be posting an everyday makeup routine. But for me at the moment, life is continuing as normal here in Australia. At the time of filming this, we are not in a lockdown. We have just been advised to, social distance and not go to large like group places or anything like that to try and keep away people and keep isolated, but things are not in lockdown at all. I am still going to work. I'm just trying to keep things as normal as possible, so that's why I wanted to film this today for you guys. So for me, my typical makeup routine is quite full on. I do wear a lot of makeup. It's what I feel most comfortable in, and for my job I just want to feel really put together, professional. I feel like a full face of makeup really gives that appearance, so that's why I wear the makeup that I do. I also have really oily skin, so I need to make sure that the makeup that I'm wearing is going to be really long lasting and stay on all day. I freaking hate touching up my makeup. Even on my wedding day, I didn't touch up my makeup once. So that is how much I despise touching up, and I do not want to be doing it on a daily basis. So the makeup products that I do use are really kind of suited towards oily skin, people who suffer with large pores, bit of texture, and someone who enjoys kind of lasting coverage. So that's the kind of makeup that we're going to be doing today. But before we jump into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any of the new videos that I post. I'll also link my Instagram handle down below if you want to check that out as well. It'd be really great. I'll leave that all in the description bar down below. But let's just jump right into the video. The first thing we're going to jump into is primer. Like I said, I have super oily skin, so I want something that's going to mattify and help make my makeup last a really long time. So this is the perfect primer. It is by Estee Lauder, and it is the Mattify Shine Control Primer. This is what it looks like here. I wore this one on my wedding day. It is the perfect primer. I love it. So I'm just going to take a small amount of that onto my fingers here, rub it over my entire face, really kind of more so focusing on my T-zone, and then just spreading out the remainder out to the outer perimeters of my face. And I do of a morning when I'm applying this, I do just try to make it sit for a little bit. I would go in, say, make my coffee right now, just so it kind of sets and sinks into the skin and is nice and dry before we go in with the foundation. I just feel like otherwise it mixes in and doesn't do as good a job. So I just trying to make sure it's kind of set down on the skin before we move on to foundation. For foundation, I'm going in with my Holy Grail. This is the foundation that I wore on my wedding day. It is the most perfect foundation if you suffer with really oily textured skin and want something with full or high coverage. It is, of course, the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I have this in the shade 1N Porcelain. This is what it looks like here. It's a pretty damn close match to my skin, actually. The only thing I hate about it is that it doesn't have a pump, so it gets real spongy real quick. But what I do is I just shake it up. I don't like to pour it onto my hand because I just feel like I get way too much product and it's wasteful. So I just pick it up on my finger and then we'll dot it onto my skin. And I'll just keep doing this until I have my whole kind of face looked after. I'm going to just pull my hair out of the way. I've just got a mirror here, so I'm just going to shake it up. I've got some breakouts happening right now, which isn't great, but we're just going with it. So that is what I'm going in with at the beginning. I might put a little bit more on as we go, but I'm just going to be using my Nikkia Joy. This is her like blending sponge. It's a really great sponge. I like it a lot more than the pink one that she's got. I feel like the pink one just like absorbs so much product, but this one I find doesn't absorb as much. So I definitely like this one a lot better than the pink one that she's got out. And I get a nicer, like more flawless coverage because I'm not going in with as much product, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to blend that in all over my skin. So I'm just going to add a little bit more coverage to the areas that I want, which for me at the moment is kind of around here. I'm just breaking out like so bad along my cheeks. I have no idea what is going on. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more across there. I have this little guy, it's a new kitten, and he is just being a little nuisance wanting to get into this filming room. But he's playing with everything. Come on, out. Both of you out. Both of you out. For concealer, I'm going to go in with this. This is the Wake Me Up Rimmel concealer. This is what it looks like here. Although I don't really use that. I'm trying to finish off. This is the MAC Pro Longwear concealer. I've ripped the top off because I'm just trying to get like every little bit of this out because it's such crappy packaging that it just keeps all of it in there. So I'm just trying to get as much as I can out with this wand. And then I'm going to be back to macking it for sure. but I'm just trying to get out as much as concealer as I can. I'm not like wasting any of the product. This is quite a full coverage concealer, so I mean, I'm probably going a little bit too much in here, but whatever. And I'm just going to blend that out with the same sponge as well, just to really highlight and brighten up my under eye area. I feel like I'm perpetually tired, and this really helps to kind of counteract any dark circles or anything like that. Next up, we're going to move on to cream bronzing. And cream bronzing was not anything that I used to do on the daily, but I've gotten way more into it now. I'm going to be using, this is the Huda Beauty. It is the TanTour in Fair. This is what the packaging looks like here. It is a little bit manky at the moment. You just screw it off, and then that is what the product looks like inside. So I'm going to be using that same sponge, and I am just going to, on this kind of like rounded edge of the sponge, I'm just going to dip into this, and I'm just going to begin to warm up the face a little bit with this bronzer. Even though I'm really, really fair, it just looks so natural on the skin. I find it hard to get a nice kind of natural looking contour or cream bronzer. I feel like they're either too warm or too cool, especially for everyday use. I just want something that's really easy just to slap on my face. I don't really have to worry about it too much. I'm using this more like a bronzer rather than a kind of contouring product. Just more so something to warm up the complexion. I do bring this contour shade quite far down and then kind of blend it up over my cheeks as well. Now once we're all blended out, I'm going to go in and set everything, and this is like the hero product of the day. I'm using my Nikkia Joy. This is the Velvet Finishing Powder. It is a loose translucent powder, and she's done a cracking job with this powder. It is so good. I'm just going to pick it up on the sponge, and then I'm firstly going to use it to set down here, my T-zone first, because that is where I'm the most oily. And then what is left on the sponge after kind of pressing that powder into that T-zone, I run up towards under my eyes. I don't like to bake really too heavily under my eyes because I, I'm almost 30 and I do have some fine lines there. And I do feel like if I bake up there, I become a really wrinkly mess super quickly. So I kind of just place on the either sides of my nose, and then whatever's left, I then go in and kind of build up towards under my eyes. I find that the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer does a really good job of not really creasing too much, so I don't have a lot of issues with it. I do though make sure that I go in and just set those inner corners here, because we put a lot of concealer on them too. I set my eyelids as well, pretty much my entire face. And don't forget your neck too. I'm now going to go in and bronze, and this is the kind of palette that I use for my everyday makeup. It's a mixture of some Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows and a few from Morphe, but the bronzer that we're going to use here is the Benefit Hula bronzer. I had a little kind of like cheek pack that I got with it in it, and I just decided that it was just so bulky. I just ended up ripping out the face powders and putting them into a Z palette, and it's way more convenient this way. So I'm just going to take, this is a Morphe R14 brush. I'm just going to start to bronze up my face using this contour bronzer. I love that this brush is quite petite and it fits really well in under my cheekbones, so it is a perfect size for a contouring bronzing kind of brush. I just use little circular motions and kind of sweep it back towards my hairline. I'm just going to do the top of my forehead as well, and also a little bit under my chin. Because this is a bronzer as well, I am going to bring it up a little bit onto the tops of my cheekbones and apples of my cheek to give it all over like youthful bronzy look to the skin. Then I'm going to move into blush, and I'm taking this blush palette from Tarte. It is the, I think it's the Amazonian like Bling It On blush palette. I've had it for absolutely ages and it's still going strong. I'm just going to take a mixture of Smashing and Beaming here, which are the two kind of pinky shades. And I'm just going to take it on this is a Morphe PK4, and I'm just going to mix between the two, dust off the excess, and just apply it tops of apples of cheeks, if that makes any sense. For highlighter, I go in with one of my favorite highlighters. This is the Becca Moonstone highlighter. It is so beautiful. If you have fair skin, this is like a beautiful product. I'm going to swirl my brush in here. This is one of the Mecca Cosmetica highlight brushes, and I'm just going to apply that to the tops of my cheekbones and also my brow bone as well. Oh gosh, you can really see my breakouts now. Don't mind them. Then I'm going to move on to the eyes and eyebrows. Because it's just an everyday look, I don't do too much with the eyes. I basically just go in with the Hula bronzer and then just a shimmery lid shade. So I've just picked up a little bit of the bronzer just on a fluffy brush and I just place it in throughout my crease. A little bit of a transition shade. So not being super precise with it, just something really light wash of colour in there to give some definition. I feel like using the bronzer really ties everything in together as well. Then with my finger, I'm just going in with this shade here. It is actually from the Morphe 35F palette. It's from row 1 and it's shade 3 across if you have the palette. I've depotted mine. So if you want to check out how to depot your Morphe palettes, I'll leave a link up in the cards now so you can check it out. I'll also leave the link down below. But that's what the shade is. And just using it on my finger, I'm just going to press that on my eyelid. It is such a beautiful shade. Look at that colour. Oh, so pretty. I'm being really kind of just sloppy, if you will, with this. I'm just kind of patting it on the lid. Also bringing it in a little bit into the crease as well. Just so it has that more, not like a cut crease look. I want it a little bit more subtle and diffused. Once that shade is all on the lid, I'm going back in with my Moonstone highlight just on my pinky, and I'm just going to highlight my inner corners. Apply a little bit on my cupid's bow, top of my nose, and just at the top of my bridge as well. Next thing I go on with my brows, I am just going to do them off camera to get them over and done with, but this is the brow product that I use. It is the Maybelline Ultra Slim Pencil. It is a great brow pencil. Now that the brows are on, I'm just going to go in with my, all of it's rubbed up, but this is the Anastasia like clear brow gel, and brush up the brow hairs just to make sure they're sitting nice. We're just going to finish off the eyes. I'm taking a nude pencil. This one is from Savvy, and I'm just going to run that along my lower waterline. Just to open them up and to give a really wide, awake look. For mascara, I'm going in with my L'Oreal. This is the Million Lashes. Ooh, hello. This is the Million Lashes mascara. It is a really good mascara. I do really like it, but you have to wait for it to dry out. If you use it, I find like straight up, it's not a great mascara, but now that it's dried out a little bit, it is like one of my favorite mascaras. So I'm just gonna apply that to my lashes. An everyday kind of like makeup day, I don't wear lashes, so I find this gives me a lot of length and volume. Like, look at the difference. Insane, right? So that is the top lashes, and then for my bottom lashes, because I find that that one does smudge, so I just go in with this one. It's the Essence Extreme, I love Extreme Volume Curl Mascara, and I go in with this on the bottom lashes, but I also run the wand a little bit through my top lashes, just once they're kind of drying, separates them a little bit more as well. Now for my everyday kind of lip color that I use, I just go in with this color Jet, color Jolt, sorry. It is from Maybelline. It's like a lip lacquer kind of situation. It is so good. It's such a beautiful color. Just comes out like this little squeezy thing that you just apply using the applicator. But that is the lip color that I use on an everyday basis. It's like glossy, but it stays on. And it actually really hydrates the lips too. It's really easy to apply. You don't need to worry about using like a lip liner or anything like that. So guys, this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. It's really neutral, natural glam in my opinion. Obviously I have a full coverage base on, but I've really paired it back with the eye makeup to make it a little bit more wearable, even though it is quite a lot of makeup. Like I said, this is the makeup that I like to wear. It may be too much for you, but you can always tweak and kind of cater it towards your own skin type or what you feel comfortable wearing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave me a big like, thumbs up. It really does help me out. I hope you guys are keeping safe, healthy, and well. Look out for your family and friends. Be kind to one another, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.